Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our penultimate matchup of the night is in the men's light heavyweight division, 105 kilos for the championship of the world. And if you want to see the very best in the world go at it, look no further than East versus West 7. Here we go. The first of our athletes hails from the great arm wrestling nation of Georgia. And he is a multiple Georgian national champion, EAF European champion, and WAF champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Irakli Zirakashvili.
Irakli Zirakashvili coming out from Georgia. This man has beaten the best of the best. 25 years old, 6'3", 231 pounds, 18-inch biceps and 16-inch forearms. This man beat John Brzezinski recently in an all-out war. Really excited to see him and Kydyrgali Ongarbaev here. This could be the match tonight. A lot of people expect an absolute screamer.
And his opponent now making his way to the table is representing Kydyrgali City, Kazakhstan. He is a national champion of Kazakhstan, is also a multiple European and multiple world champion in the EAF and WAF respectively. He is also the reigning and defending East versus West champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Kydyrgali Ongarbaev!
Pride of Kazakhstan, ladies and gentlemen, Kydyrgali Ongarbaev, perhaps the best young arm wrestler in our sport today. Not the big muscles, Derek, like normal, but Ongarbaev possesses a technique and power, such control and poise for a young 28-year-older. Weighing in at 231 pounds, and to me, looking like he could even get to 209 at some point if needed. This is by far the greatest match of any two guys that have competed and won against the perfect storm, John Brzezinski. His last two losses, ladies and gentlemen, are these two human beings. Derek, tell me who you like.
I got Ongarbaev in this in a slight edge, but we'll see when when it hits the fan. We'll see.
First of all, Derek, you know me well. I am not one to brag. However, I clearly stated before this match that my money was on Irakli. I will hand this mic off to one Neil Pickup, as hard as it is for me not to do this commentating. Take it over until Neil catches his breath.
Well, we pretty much assumed it was going to be a strap match. Two outside pullers almost always lead to the straps. So there's no shocker there. Not a lot of information to be gathered as of yet, but when the straps are applied, we're really going to understand the angles and who's going to have an advantage and what kind of setup. Really excited to see these two explosive arm wrestlers. Irakli really bringing the fire right now, but Ongarbaev always looks calm, cool, and collect, but he has it all within him.
Very, very excitable young man. And I don't know what's going on with the score there. We got quick media pulling Ongarbaev up on our commentary point, but it is in fact Irakli. And he started brightly.
Like this, okay? Okay.
Kydyrgali Ongarbaev, so technically proficient, he will need to be here. Irakli Zirakashvili.
Like this.
I like Kydyrgali's angle, his forearm being driving straight up and vertical. This could lead a lot in terms of height for this top rope.
He is looking for Irakli to outrun his own. A little bit early there, though.
That's going to be the first.
Kydyrgali City's own Kydyrgali Ongarbaev, the reigning champion. Hard defense, Derek.
Wrist, yes. Okay. Wrist.
Kydyrgali looking to arm wrestle on the counter as he does so well. The initial earlier. Big drive again there, but he outran his own wrist. Kydyrgali, Ongarbaev, ladies and gentlemen, the counter-attack. Ongarbaev with the first pin, and Derek, this guy is good off the counter.
Yes, he is. Irakli being so offensive, putting a lot of pressure on his own wrist, rushing the pin a little bit before he established complete control. Thinks he has it right here, and you're going to see him drive. Oh, that was already after the first drive. There we go. But Ongarbaev, like Neil said, a great counter top roller, establishing control later near the pin pad, and then able to transition into an offensive top roll really well.
Pistol grip, low hand top roll working for him super effectively there. Great control with the bottom two fingers as Irakli Zirakashvili charged for that pin pad. Little bit aggressive. Sacrificed his own wrist and hand, and from there, no way back with Kydyrgali, Ongarbaev. Nobody is cleaner. Nobody's more clinical than this guy. Shidara City turning out the very best technicians in the world in many cases. And their signature arm wrestler, Kydyrgali, Ongarbaev.
A top roller losing his wrist like that, that's one of his most potent weapons. So I'm wondering what kind of adjustments Irakli is going to be able to make here. It seems like his arm is setting up underneath Kydyrgali's. So what can he do to make sure that his wrist doesn't buckle back like that? Maybe being more defensive? What do you think, Neil?
Well, he needs to get that lower palm a great deal further forward than he did there. And also, I think he needs to slow it down a little bit. Try to hit for position and maintain the height in the index finger, knuckle, and the thumb. Pretty much like we saw earlier on today from Vitali. Slip and go to the straps. Now, another interesting point, Derek. A few years ago, you would have said that Irakli didn't have another option, had nowhere else to go. He surprised the hell out of a lot of people, including myself, at the last East versus West in the match with John. But I do feel that it would be a very different match with Kydyrgali, was he to choose that option. This is a very young, very proficient, an incredibly gifted and powerful young arm wrestler. I do believe that this is going to be a battle of top rolls, and the man who gains height, who can keep that position in the hand and wrist, will go on to win the match. And Irakli needs to slow things down a little bit, and he needs to hit for position, not for the pin.
I completely agree. That transition in the match Irakli had against John Brzezinski, it became like kind of a flop wrist press battle. I don't know if that option is going to be there as easily with the match against Kydyrgali, with Kydyrgali pulling backwards.
Both men very square, both men looking to maintain that pronator, and that's better from Zirakashvili, much better, and now in the hand and wrist position, looking to get away with it. Great little Kydyrgali, but now it's Zirakashvili on the back pressure, not in transition, just oh my gosh. Hey, fly fisherman bumping, did you see that little press pop?
That was wild.
Love it, love it, love it. The fly fisherman. Bang, bang. Pump, pop.
Don't they call Kydyrgali the Bruce Lee?
Let's see if we can... Oh, we're not gonna, I don't think we're going to see it. We've only seen the end of the replay there, but halfway through that match, when he started to lose his hand and wrist a little, he gained it back with the fly fisherman. Little pump, little pop, gained it back, and really extended Zirakashvili. And that's where this guy's so dangerous, Derek. His transitions are just sweet.
That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, to be honest, it's not very often you see a top roller lose his wrist and then end up getting it back and taking the other guy's wrist without doing some kind of wild, king's move type of option. So for Kydyrgali to pull that move off and find a way to get his wrist back and to bend Irakli's wrist back was absolutely insane. You do not see that.
I'm going to be honest with you, Derek, that was one of my signature moves back in the day. I used to love the fly fisherman. Just a little bump, bump, change of direction, like throwing the jab and then popping back to where you came from. Takes a little bit of bravery, but when you can sink that, it's a great move, and we saw how effective it can be. The other interesting point there is we saw when it went to the drop wrist from Zirakashvili, there really isn't an option there with this fella.
And now with this guy. Unfortunately, there weren't TVs around back when you were arm wrestling, Neil. I'd love to see clips of that. But I'm excited to see what other moves Kydyrgali has in his book.
Mate, he's got them all. I think that this guy, let's talk for a moment about Shidara City. Kazakhstan turning out some unbelievable arm wrestlers. These guys are so professional in their approach to the sport. really have picked up the torch and have started to run with it. And a little bit of dismay on the face there of Zirakashvili. I feel like mentally, he probably feels like he's thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, at Kydyrgali Ongarbaev and has got no change from it. And he's being out arm wrestled, Derek.
Well, if he does plan to make that transition you were talking about, maybe to a press, this would be the time right here. This is where we would start seeing that option and keeping that shoulder a little bit tighter to have that option in the match. But I don't know if it's going to be able to happen with Kydyrgali.
The other thing I would say there is that when Zirakashvili lost his there was a little damage there. To be fair, he looked fine there, though. He looked happy, looked confident. We knew the strap was coming. That forearm looks pumped up pretty bad. Hard to recover that. And this is another thing about Kydyrgali. He doesn't look as powerful, does he? You look at these two guys and you're thinking, oh, it's all about Irakli. But in top-end strength, you've got to believe that Kydyrgali Ongarbaev is right there. Every box is ticked. It's all muscle that he utilizes, material that he utilizes so diligently, so effectively. But the timing is right there. I mean, precision beats power, timing beats speed. And is anybody timing better than this fella?
I don't think so. I mean, Kydyrgali has this dialed in. I mean, you could, from the side, yeah, his muscles aren't too impressive. He doesn't look too big at all. I mean, it looks like a current Travis Bajan. I mean, it's a smaller arm. But in the end, it's really powerful. It's about the way you use it and how efficient he can be on the table.
Here we go. The strap is applied. 2-0 to the man from Kazakhstan, Shadara City's own Kydyrgali Ongarbaev. His opponent, Irakli, Zirakashvili, needs to pull something. The back pressure applied, high, tight, top roll. And you can see already Kydyrgali creating the hand and wrist. And if the finish, it was blisteringly close. The third one is Kydyrgali.
Yeah, Kydyrgali is so explosive. What an athlete. This is an amazing arm wrestler. You guys, if you don't understand what's happening there and the small nuances of how he's gaining control, that is so impressive, the things he's doing on the table.
We're going to welcome back in the beast, Travis Bajan. We'll have a look at the replay, and Derek will just walk you through this one. What a masterclass, Derek.
Yeah, Kydyrgali utilizing that bottom strap and really driving the way he slides his elbow back by utilizing his lat while maintaining height in his hand at the same time is world class. You don't see that every day.
Well, there you go, Derek. My prediction was spot on. I told you Zirakashvili Ongarbaev was by far the clear favorite here and that he would in fact win. There's one thing about me, I know my arm wrestling.
No doubt, Travis. Now let's head back down to Coach Ray.
I got you. And I tell you, Derek, the more I watch and you understand the career and the way Ongarbaev approaches the game, you clearly have to think that he is the most impressive puller even here at the East vs. West event. What an exciting time for the arm wrestling world to have such an absolute great human being to be our representative of the heavyweight championship.
Really excited to see what kind of awards they're going to be giving him. Is it a full sword? Or?
And still, 105 kilo right arm East vs. West champion, Kydyrgali Ongarbaev. This is his second title defense, third title match. Second title defense, third. Okay. Don, we good? Yes, we're good. Okay, perfect. We are here with your winner, Kydyrgali Ongarbaev. What amazing match. Again, I'll ask questions in Russian, then I'll translate. что ты думаешь про свою сопернику, Иракли, что думал про матча, был готов, ожидал то, что случилось?
Біріншіден, ассаламу алейкум қазақ елі. Бүгінгі көріп отқан барлық көрермендерге рахмет, қолдауларыңызға сезіндім. Бүгінгі жеңісімді осы Қазақстан елінің жеңіс күніне арнаймын. Мен осы бәріне рахмет, альхамдулилля. Сені осы Шардар Арм спорт клубының қалаушысы Арман ағайыма үлкен алғыс айтамын. Бұл жеңіске жетуімнің көптеген себептері осы Арм спорт клубының барлық ағаларыма, інілеріме рахмет айтамын, көптеген. Что я хочу сказать на матче? Я такого матча ждал, на такого подготовил, и такого был, видели. Еще много добавить еще, видели что-то. Все, спасибо.
He said he expected exactly this match to be like it went. He knows how strong and powerful and dangerous Irakli is, but he prepared good and he was ready. He said he wanted to congratulate everyone in Kazakhstan. Today is a special day, victory day. So. Я хотел спросить, на 105 категорий, кто и что на твой радар? Кто ты видишь, кто может быть твой следующий соперник?
Как скажет, так мы попробуем. Engin как скажет, поэтому подготовка будет очень хорошо, потом приедем.
So I asked him like who he wanted to maybe face. He said Engin will give him a name and he will beat him.